And to finally complete the most significant news for this day, Y News continues. Here are the top stories. 5 individuals, including alias Kama, who were allegedly involved in the deadly blasts at a cathedral in Jolo, SULU, are now under police custody. According to Philippine National Police Chief Oscar Albayalde, the suspects yielded to authorities following the massive hot pursuit operations of the government troops in Patikul, SULU. Albayalde says the 5 suspects were among the 22 members of Abu Sayyaf group believed to have plotted and executed the attacks last January 28. Based on the investigation, an Indonesian woman detonated the first bomb inside the cathedral, while an Indonesian man followed through with detonating the bomb outside the church. Despite the surrender of the 5 suspects, Albayalde believes that the case is still far from over. 14 other suspects, including the mastermind Abu Sayyaf sub-leader Hatib Hajan Sawad Jaan, are still at large. Meanwhile, social media and online advertisements for the 2019 midterm elections will now be subjected to the Commission on Election Scrutiny, marking the first time that blogs and social media posts would be covered by campaign regulations. Under COMELEC Resolution number 10488, the poll body ordered all political candidates and parties to register with the COMELEC's Education and Information Department the website name and address of the official blog and/or social media page that would be used to disseminate their online campaign materials. Other blogs or social media pages not affiliated with a political party or candidate but are still being used for political endorsement will be considered as additional official blogs or pages of a candidate. COMELEC's resolution also requires website owners or administrators to submit copies of broadcast logs, certificates of performance, and other records to allow the poll body to monitor a candidate's campaign expenditures. Each candidate who belongs to a political party is entitled to spend 3 pesos per registered voter, while those without political parties may allot 5 pesos for every registered voter. Political parties and party list groups may spend 5 pesos per registered voter.
Ang ipaparegister nila yung mga websites na inaako nila as theirs. No, pag hindi naman sa kanila, it will be treated a little differently, no? Kapag claim mo yung website as yours, then one of the consequences of that is makikita natin ng mas madali yung ad spend from that account. Ad spend kasi ang pinag-uusapan dito eh. It's how much you paid the platform to basically push your message to other people. So it will be part of the cost.
Candidates for senators and party list groups may start campaigning on February 12, 2019, while candidates for members of the House of Representatives and regional, provincial, city, and municipal officials may begin on March 29, 2019. The campaign period for the May 2019 midterm elections is set to kick off on February 12. An expert believes that for a candidate to win, he or she should not stick to just one formula. Jo Anano tells us why.
8 more days to go, and the campaign period for the May 2019 midterm elections will go in full gear. Candidates running for senatorial and party list groups representation are now psyching themselves up with their campaign schemes to capture the voters' hearts, mind, and trust. Political strategist Maluti Kia said the use of social media in campaigning is in demand nowadays as it allows candidates to reach a wider scope of audience. Candidates often come up with ideas to make themselves trend on social media so voters will be more aware of their candidacy.
Dahil nakakagawian na what trends is news, so lahat nasa social media. At pag pumutok ka ngayon doon, whether positive or negative, nagiging news, naglaland sa news. Naglaland sa news cycle. So pag nagland ka sa news cycle, nagkakaroon ka ng free media.
Although the social media has millions of users, Tikia said it has yet to prove that it can be a good platform that can take candidates off to the big chance of victory.
Ang magiging problema mo lang sa social media, meron tayong 62 million registered voters for 2019. 50 million na Pilipino ang nasa Facebook. Hindi mo alam doon kung sinong botante. So, in terms of data, kailangan yung isang kandidato, ibangga mo yung data sa Facebook. Kunyari, follower mo, kung may follower kang 5,000, sila ba'y botante?
Another new scheme is the conduct of surveys. Through surveys, the public will be able to know who are leading and popular, which might influence their choice. But for Thio, it is still important for the candidates to focus on the conduct of sorties across the country for them to relay their platforms and proposals to the voters in person.
Bumaba ka sa komunidad. Again, ang knowledge nun is, ang Pilipinong botante, very personal still. Ang gusto niya, hinihingi nyo ang tulong, ang gusto niya, nahahawakan, nahahalka, nakukurot, very personal.
She also reiterates that candidates leading surveys should not be confident at winning the elections.
Pero ngayon, dahil survey-driven, parang karamihan ng kandidato gusto mo nang magbuhos sa survey, pagkatapos, at saka na muna yung kampanya. Pag yung kampanya, pag ako nasa rank 5 or 6, okay na ako. Ang hindi nila nakikita, at hindi strategic yun kasi yung 5 and 6 pagdating sa 90-day campaign pwedeng pumalagwa. Siguro yung top 1 hanggang 3 medyo sturdy na yon kasi mahirap mong ugain yon.
Thio commends the opposition's current strategy of presenting its senatorial slate early on, unlike administration's lineup which to date remains unclear.
Makikita natin na hindi lumalabas ang slate ng Duterte. Ang LP maagang lumabas, yung kanilang 8 diretso. At napakaganda yung ginawa ng liberal kasi bakit 8? Kasi studies show na ang average Filipino voters will only cast their vote for 8. They can only 8. It used to be 6, ngayon 8. Bihira ang Pilipinong botante bumoboto sa 12. Okay? Oo. Even the results of the surveys says na ang average voter will vote for 8. Okay? So, kung 8, nakapackage na kaagad.
As a political strategist, Thio believes that candidates being endorsed by President Duterte and several incumbent senatoriables are a sure win in the midterm elections. But she also argues that the situation might still change depending on the voters' decision. John Nano, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
In other news, the Duterte administration has no intention of taking legal action against individuals and critics who claim that President Rodrigo Duterte already passed away. Over the weekend, a report on the supposed death of the president circulated on social media following his absence from an event in Leyte on Friday. To clarify rumors, Duterte's partner Hanilet Avincenia posted on Facebook a series of videos showing the president making fun of the claims.
For those who believe in the news that I passed away, then I request of you, please pray for the eternal repose of my soul. Thank you.
According to presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo, they are already used to Duterte's critics who keep on spreading rumors about the president's health condition. Panelo also assured that the president is just fine and he is just decided to cancel some of his public engagements last week to get some rest.
Sinasadya nila nga yun, yung mga kritiko. Actually, galing yan sa mga kalaban ni Presidente. Hindi sa ordinaryong tao. Ordinaryo na yun eh. We're used to that anyway, so let it be.
The Department of Environment and Natural Resources is planning to place warning signages and fences around Manila Bay to prevent the public from swimming on its waters amid the ongoing rehabilitation. This is after tourists flock to the formerly trash-filled seaside promenade along Rojas Boulevard to have picnics, capture the iconic sunset by the bay, or take a plunge into its waters. The Manila Bay coastline along Rojas Boulevard has been rid of garbage after a massive cleanup drive last week. The DENR says that swimming in Manila Bay is not yet recommended as its water quality is still far from safe levels.
Malinaw po sinasabi namin, bawal pa po mag-swimming dyan.
President Rodrigo Duterte has ordered the transfer of power to approve reclamation projects to his office. Under Executive Order Number 74, the Philippine Reclamation Authority will now be under the Office of the President, and the power to approve reclamation projects will be delegated to the PRA Governing Board. Duterte's latest order stressed that the PRA should not approve any project without the required clearance and compliance certificates from the DENR. Malacanang says the recent action is meant to streamline the processes in various government agencies, but is not directly connected to speeding up the impending reclamation projects in Manila Bay.
Not necessarily. Si Presidente naman, basta gusto niya palaging compliant with the law. Ayaw niya ng brasuan, ayaw niya ng palakasan, palaging kung ano yung batas, hindi na lang natin.
The government's operation under reenacted budget may have to be extended amid an impasse over the passage of the 3.757 trillion peso 2019 proposed national budget. According to Senate President Vicente Soto III, the bicameral conference committee has yet to reconcile their versions of the General Appropriations Bill over several contentious issues. The committee has opened only up to Wednesday to ratify the budget before the Congress goes on session break. Soto says the proposed budget could possibly be ratified in July under the new leadership of the House.
Ang mangyayari, kung hindi sila magkakasundo at saka meron namang panibagong hinihingi naman ngayon ata for 2018 ng House, talagang mangyayari dyan, mapupunta ng reenacted budget yan. Now, if it's reenacted, I believe that the Executive Department might be able to do legal means to be able to continue with the services of government ng kahit reenacted siya.
Malacanang, meanwhile, remains hopeful that Congress will find a way to finalize the budget before the session break. And for the news abroad, here's Pauline Ompico live from Tokyo, Japan. Pauline, good evening.
Good evening, William. Officials in the Australian city of Townsville are deliberately flooding several neighborhoods after record rainfall has swollen a dam beyond capacity. Meanwhile, 9 people in Bologna, Italy were brought to safety after the Rheena River burst its banks. Nina Bascon tells us why.
Residents in and around the northeastern city of Townsville in Australia have been warned of risk to life and unprecedented flooding that could inundate up to 20,000 homes. People have been told to seek shelter on higher ground after Townsville received more than 3.3 feet of rain in just a week. That is more than 20 times the average for the time of year, beating the previous record set in 1998 in what became known as the Night of Noah.
In all the years that I've been here, 18 years, I've never seen it up this far.
Gates at the Ross River Dam were fully opened on Sunday evening because water levels were too high and the monsoon rains were continuing. Thousands of residents in the area have already been affected, some left without power and others cut off by flooded roads. The Army has been helping to protect homes with sandbags, while rescue teams have been evacuating people using rafts.
As we know, there is still heavy rainfall across this area. This monsoonal trough just doesn't want to seem to move much at all. There's going to be heavy rainfall over the next couple of days. There will also be damaging wind gusts and intense rainfall with significant flash flooding. So once again, our message is if you don't need to be out on the roads, please don't.
An Italian fire brigade rescue helicopter winched to safety 3 people and 6 Carabinieri military policemen on Saturday after the Rheena River burst its banks near the northern Italy city of Bologna. The military policemen were helping people to evacuate their homes in the flooded area of Castelmaggiore when the water level of the river suddenly rose, flooding the road. The 9 people who were showing initial signs of hypothermia have been eventually evacuated by firefighters using a helicopter. Fire brigade helicopter footage showed the destruction near the towns of Castelmaggiore and Argelato, where firefighters used some previous vehicles and rafts to access the flooded areas. Nina Bascon, UNTV News and Rescue, Australia.
The Pentagon is sending 3,750 additional U.S. forces to the southwest border with Mexico for 3 months to support border agents. The deployment will raise the total number of active duty forces supporting customs and border protection agents in the area to about 4,350, according to the Department of Defense. President Donald Trump, who has portrayed the situation at the border as a crisis, is expected to talk about immigration and his proposal for a wall along the U.S. border with Mexico during the annual State of the Union address on Tuesday. 2 people were killed after a small plane crashed in California. Meanwhile, Tehran insists that its missile program is purely defensive following the release of an undated footage purportedly showing Iran's long-range missile test. Here's why from Eileen Cerudo.
In USA, a small plane crashed into a home in California's Orange County on Sunday, causing 2 fatalities. Video showed the house being devoured by flames and charred debris scattered around the street and neighboring yards. The fate of the pilot and the number of people aboard the aircraft remains unknown. 2 people have been hospitalized, according to authorities. In Cape Verde, police in Cape Verde destroyed more than 9 tons of cocaine and detained 11 Russian sailors suspected of smuggling the drug. The Judiciary Police said the 9.5 tons of cocaine were seized overnight after a ship, which was traveling to Morocco from South America, docked at the port of Paria for legal reasons, following the death of a crew member. The Russian ship Esser was reported sailing under Panama's flag. The Russian embassy in Cape Verde declined to make an immediate comment. According to Refinitiv data, the vessel Esser remains in Port of Paria. And in Iran, a new cruise missile with a range of 1,300 kilometers was displaced by Iran during celebrations marking the anniversary of the 1979 Islamic Revolution. The Defense Ministry's website carried an undated video purportedly showing the missile being test-fired from a mobile launcher. It quoted Defense Minister Amir Hatami as saying the missile had successfully hit targets at a distance of 1,200 kilometers. Iran has expanded its missile program, particularly its ballistic missiles, in defiance of opposition from the United States and expressions of concern by European countries. Tehran says the program is purely defensive. Eileen Cerudo, UNTV, News and Rescue.
And those are the news from the other parts of the globe. Back to you, William.
Thank you very much, Pauline Ompico, reporting live from Tokyo, Japan. The wreckage of the aircraft carrying soccer star Emiliano Sala and his pilot that disappeared over the English Channel last month has been located. Meanwhile, the triumph of New England's Patriots over Los Angeles Rams in the Super Bowl is considered as one for the books. Asher Kadapan Jr. tells us why.
The New England Patriots beat the Los Angeles Rams 13-3 on Sunday in the lowest scoring Super Bowl played to capture the National Football League championship for a record-tying 6th time. The victory, which moves the Patriots into a share of all-time mark with the Pittsburgh Steelers, was also a record 6th Super Bowl triumph for Tom Brady, who at 41 became the oldest quarterback to win the championship game. Brady was joined in the record books by 66-year-old Bill Belichick, who becomes the oldest coach to hoist the Vince Lombardi Trophy. Qatar celebrated its biggest soccer achievement after stunning Japan to win the Asian Cup with an open-top bus parade in Doha. Hundreds of cheering supporters waving flags lined the streets of the Qatari capital to welcome home the team. Qatar recorded a stunning 3-1 win over 4 times champions Japan on Friday to make an emphatic statement ahead of their hosting of the 2022 World Cup. The wreckage of the aircraft that disappeared over the English Channel last month carrying Premier League soccer player Emiliano Sala and his pilot has been located, the marine scientist directing the search said on Sunday. The privately funded underwater search had begun on Sunday, several days after investigators said they found 2 seat cushions on the French coast that likely belonged to the aircraft. The 28-year-old Argentina-born forward had been en route from Nantes in western France with pilot David Ibbotson to make his debut for Welsh team Cardiff City when the plane is believed to have crashed into the sea on January 21. Asher Kadapan Jr., UNTV News and Rescue.
And Miss Universe 2018 Catriona Gray attended her first red carpet event of the year at the National Football League Honors in Atlanta, Georgia. Gray donned a black gown for the event in a photo she posted on Monday via Instagram. The 25-year-old beauty queen attended the event with Miss USA 2018 Sarah Rose Summers, who also competed at the Miss Universe pageant last December 2018. The NFL Honors is an annual awards presentation held the night before the Super Bowl. Gray is set to return to the Philippines on February 20 to a homecoming celebration. And those are the reasons behind the news, February 4, 2019. On behalf of Rheena, Villamor-Camara, and Angelo Castro III, I am William Thio. Because we need to know, we will always ask why. Good evening.
UNTV, your public service channel.